What's up, everybody? This is Ongoing Mapper on YouTube, and today we will be covering episode 5 of my WICSO series. Now, for today, we're just going to see some basic expansion, um, lots of exploration into the Balkans and Russia. But other than that, I got all my problems from last video fixed, so we should be good. But here we're going to see the Anatolia region start to be discovered. Now, there's a lot more discovered land than taken over land right now, so countries are going to change that. But the French borders I fixed up a bit while I was gone. But now let's cover over what we found in the Alps. Now, they are going to push a lot more into the Alps, fully exploring this area over here, which I think that will be very helpful for future nations. But right now, they're just going to wait. I'm gonna fix any edits that I mess up on. But other than that, we are just gonna keep on rolling the whole video. So what we see here is no expansion into this river. I mean, sea. Because that would be unrealistic because, it's Anatolia, near Anatolia, and they don't have any civilizations nearby. So it just wouldn't make sense. But here we're going to see the Aegean Sea be almost fully discovered. Fully discovered from the Greek team, which is actually going to struggle here soon. We're going to see new nations in the Balkans. Just hinting at that, because I have thought about that for a while, and I do want a one nation in the Balkans away from everybody. So what we're going to see is the collapse of this Italian team. I already have colors picked out and everything. But here we're just going to see them lose Albania. And then this area over here, it's just going to take independence like that. Going from here into here, taking most of the boot of Italy. And then we're going to see this lime country just take the rest of this northern half, the northern Italian country. It's not the same lime team that we seen before up in this area that quickly got removed after its creation. But what we see here is just an all-out revolution, the Italian revolutions. And this is going to be quite deadly for the Italians. Nothing bad's gonna happen though, like in the French Revolution, but this will be very different for the Italians than anyone here. One of the bloodier revolutions that we've seen on this WICSO. And the government can't do anything about it since there's obviously going to be threats of war, since so many nations are trying to declare independence. But we just seen the collapse of the one major contester for Rome because they do have Rome. But we also see the French Roman country I think this is just going to be called Rome. I would love for this to turn into a Rome-ish country, at least Western Roman Empire, just without Italy. Yeah, we're gonna call this West Rome. But after this, we see the Albanian country just conquer all of the Greek peninsula. And they're just going to be chilling on their own. They really got no nearby neighbors to stop them from doing this. Maybe some natives nearby, but there really ain't any. So they're just chilling, taking parts of Anatolia. What's this border right here? There's something on another layer right here. Hold up, let me get that real quick. This is our Greek country, and there's going to be natives in Anatolia. Muslim natives in Anatolia causing the Greeks problems. Where have we seen that before? A little reference to Turkey and Greece. But we're just gonna see the Turkish state over here. They're not gonna be big, but they're gonna be a small little country on the rise. They're gonna be like in this area. Just stuck over here. We ain't gonna see much from this. A little bit of expansion later on, but they aren't gonna be doing much. I just gotta mark their water explored land. But that ain't hard. We saw a major collapse-ish in Italy, but now we have the Alps fully discovered, and we're about to see the race for the Alps. So here we're going to see multiple nations try to get pieces of the Alps. And we will see a peace treaty of the Alps very soon. Alright. I'm gonna draw up this peace deal. I will be back in a minute. Alright, now here we have the peace deal. What we see here is a very messed up border that is going to mess up history for a while, and it's going to make history very bloody. And that'll suck for everyone, but honestly, there's nothing they can do about it. History's just going to deal with it, and it sucks, but they messed it up, and there's gonna be multiple wars fought between these three countries. Maybe even with this country. This country, I really see potential for it. They could easily get some land in the Balkans by expansion, but that could also mess up their country. What I want to do is a split of the Balkans. Not where it's just few countries, but I actually want to see a more united Balkans. Sort of like a Yugoslavia, just with less cultures. Actually, lots of cultures just joint together in a republic that works. Like what Yugoslavia was supposed to be, just in a more free, non-Serbian version. That'll be real cool. So we're gonna see lots of different people from different cultures create this republic of different cultures. Now, they are gonna have to make borders with Albania, but I do really see potential for this country. And it's gonna be real nice. There keeps on being these spots on my map. That's my bad, guys. I do not want these spots everywhere on my map. Trust me, there's a lot. Maybe there's an easy way to remove them. If y'all know an easy way in the comments, just let me know. But other than that, we're just gonna deal with it. I'm gonna tidy up this border over here. There it is. I really do think the Greco-Albanian country, it does have lots of potential, but it could easily be wasted away. They are gonna see potential in the peninsula and develop that a lot with the islands. But I really do see the Anatolian country actually doing something and fighting them back in the future. There's not gonna be much fighting in this region like in real life, but we could definitely see a more bloody Central Europe. Central Europe's going to be our Balkans in this timeline. A little bit different from our timeline, but I think that's going to be very healthy for our little world as we progress slowly, which we can also balkanize countries and areas and regions later on. But for now, nothing's really going to change in the southern portions of my map. Not saying a lot's not going to change, because one major change is about to happen. The Swedes and the red teams just left each other's countries. They realized that if we're gonna want to take over our respective areas, we're really gonna have to explore a lot. So what we see is a little bit of a rush to take over land and discover it. A discovery rush. But these two have been really mixing cultures due to sea travel. And their languages have adapted and everything. They just don't share the same religion. But what we're gonna see is a border being formed between them. We can't really mess up any borders here because they're just expanding. It don't matter how the expansion borders look. They're all gonna change once countries be put on them. But other than that, we ain't gonna see much more. Other than the British Isles, which the British Isles aren't important at all. So no nation's worried about it. So no nation's going to realize that this Ireland country is just gonna pop up. Not many people are gonna know about it. Actually, nobody is, except for the Ireland people. People of the Irish country. So, it's gonna be alright. This country keeps it a secret because they don't want others to think they're weak because it's all their immigrants just trying to get out of their country. But here we have the British Isles being fully discovered. Nobody really cares for the British Isles. Nobody should. They're not a major part of the world right now. But that does show you how fast they're expanding. My first 2 episodes, 3 actually, I didn't do much expansion, but I plan to make it better. The map actually looks a whole lot better. So what we're gonna see here is Doobieland. If y'all play any mapping games that go back into like breakaway of the Roman times, Doobieland's like over here. Dobbyland. However you wanna say it. But their capital's like right over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that just for historical purposes, like in this area, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that's Ireland country. Ireland's gonna be real unique compared to other countries, so I hope y'all will enjoy that. But other than that, that is episode 5 for you. This will be posted on Wednesday, and this is recorded on the 13th, so that is Sunday. I'm pre-recording right now because I'm going on a camping trip soon, and I'll be back on like Friday. So I'm just pre-recording videos. I already have videos up until Wednesday. That's cool. But goodbye everyone, have a good day, and I will be editing this in the hour.